Personal log. Void Marshal Canthus. Galbrae Imperium. I should have known. From the first time we encountered the humans, I should have seen what humans refer to as red flags. "Why is it bubbling?" I asked, looking at the dark brown, almost black, liquid encased in the solidified hydrocarbon container. "We call it a soft drink or soda. The bubbling is the result of pressurized carbon dioxide suspended in the liquid to the point of saturation. When the pressure is released, it bubbles." I later would learn that the carbonate component was harvested from a dead volcano under one of their smaller cities, Jackson, Mississippi, in the former United States of America. For the life of me, I could not remember the name of the soda, but I remember being horrified that this race would dare to build a city on a volcano, active or extinct. Humans. The soda was a peace offering, as was the beer that contained the same bubbling effect, but produced by bacteria. They enjoyed drinking the alcoholic soup of bacterial fermentation, and consuming another bacterial fermented item containing capsaicin they aptly named hot sauce. Only a race of lunatics would consume poison for enjoyment, or build their dwellings on natural disasters, and they enjoyed it. They relished defying the gods. Perhaps that's why we befriended them so enthusiastically. We in Galbrae are no stranger to extremes. We do not consume toxic liquids, or build anything near unstable ground, but we enjoy pushing ourselves to extremes. For instance, we have the fastest ships in the galaxy, and race them for entertainment. Another example is our competitive nature. We also share another extreme with the humans: violence. Much like the Galbrae, humanity has conducted multiple wars upon itself. They even tried to exterminate their own species a few times, another red flag. It went largely ignored by our shared appreciation of heroes. In that same conversation, we had our third red flag. They had harnessed the destructive capabilities of atoms before discovering FTL travel. Indeed, they did not use conventional engines, but 2 rings of exotic matter, a trade secret but connected to their atomic weapons somehow, in order to create their warp bubbles. Our fourth and final red flag came to light while visiting one of their volcanoes that they had turned into a park. I was assured that we would be safe as long as we followed the rules. Those rules: do not attempt to cook anything in the hot springs, do not stand next to the geysers, unstable land, stay on the path, and so on. The sheer insanity of this place, called San Francisco, being built almost on top of a plate boundary that was active but also less than 100 kilometers from a volcanic field, and had the audacity to name the place Clear Lake Volcano Park. And just to add a touch of flavor to the madness, they made alcohol in between a ferment of grapes they called wine. Humans. One of the rules caught my eye, however. If you see bubbles rising from the lake, inform a park ranger immediately. The event was known as a limnic eruption, and reminded me of our first encounter with the humans 3 cycles ago. That sickly sweet carbonated drink. The type of event was rare, and maybe had nothing to do with the soda, but it was the same reaction. They had learned from the many naturally occurring calamities of this planet. I should have known that they were one of the calamities. In 5 cycles we had formed an alliance. Trade was very good between humanity and Galbrae, as well as both of our soon-to-discover neighbours. Tuxalicans were the first mutually discovered sentient species, a gastropod species, similar to human snails but 3 meters long and 2.5 meters tall. Not only were they terrified of the soda and beer as we had been, but also unable to tolerate sodium chloride. Oddly, they loved the capsaicin-laced peppers. Vasani Kes, on the other hand, could consume anything. They were another mammalian species, covered in a thick soft fur. Humans called them trash pandas at first, but soon learned to appreciate their scavenging and ability to create starships out of that trash. There was a third species we discovered. Cordas, they called themselves. They exist as I record this, but only for a few more rotations. I wish there was a way to. But they called this upon themselves. Cordas were encountered only 180 rotations ago. We don't know much about them except that they are xenophobic. Their religion, it seems, led them to believe that they are created in the image of their gods. Humanity also believes that, but not to the same ends. Cordas attacked our four-species alliance at first contact. Anything not avian is food, was their only statement. Humanity's first survey fleet was captured. The crew, even human children, were eaten alive. Humanity mourned their loss for one of their months, about 30 rotations. Cordas took this as a sign of weakness in their new prey, and consumed an entire colony. 1 million humans unceremoniously ripped apart by talon and beak. The carnage was broadcast back to humanity. That was the breaking point for them. Personal log continuation. Void Marshal Canthus, cut by our Imperium. It has been 3 rotations since humanity struck back at Cordas forces. All the warnings about humanity that went ignored came to fruition 17 hours ago. I can't sleep now that I have seen what they are capable of. While I can confirm the horrific nature of Cordas, I can also now attest to the inhumanity of humans as well. Compressed gases, fiery eruptions, weapons that harness the atom, all of it unveiled in all of its natural beauty and horror. Above the Cordas homeworld, their fleets gathered in one final defensive stand. Our alliance voiced compassion, demanded unconditional surrender of the avians. They refused, of course, not that humanity would have listened anyway. "We do not negotiate with food," was their only reply. The human admiral only nodded, and made a weak gesture with her hand. "That was not a request," she replied weakly. "It was an ultimatum. May the universe forgive us for what we now do." In that moment, the secret human weapon was revealed. A large metallic sphere emerged from humanity's largest vessel, named Apollo. The readings from my bridge officer suggested highly compressed hydrogen. Compressed gases escaped my mandibles, as the realization of what the humans had created struck me. The Admiral turned to address me in our private view screen. "Remember that day I took you to the Big Horn Mountains, and we watched the shooting stars?" I could only watch in awe and trepidation, as the sphere was ignited before both fleets. My mind went back all those years, when I visited Wyoming for a meteor shower with the same woman who had handed me that soda so long ago, and now stood in god-like judgment of an entire race. The miniature star flashed to life so brightly that even with the polarization of the bridge viewport, most of us covered our eyes. The Admiral's shaky voice came over the private view screen. "I'm so sorry you had to see this." The miniature star, caught in the gravitational pull of the Cordas homeworld, began its slow and inevitable descent onto the planet. Her voice is what keeps me awake more than anything right now. A constant sobbing. "I'm sorry." As a human-created star slowly orbited, descending with each rotation, and shattered the only world Cordas had ever inhabited. The only comfort I can take is that they are allied with us. They would never... right? Humans.